Hey friends, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I know it's been quite a while, and I'll talk a little more about that later. But as for right now, I want to take you guys through some of the recent upgrades I've done here on our campus at FBC Beaumont and talk to you about some automation that we're doing that might make your life and your worship flow just a little bit smoother on Sundays. Let's go. All right, allow me to introduce to you upgrade number one. This is a 2024 M4 Mac Mini, almost base model, but it replaced two 21.5-inch 2015 model iMacs. One was doing recording and playback through Logic Pro and Dante Virtual Sound Card. The other was running my DMX3, which was doing all of our lighting control for the room and the stage. Both of which were base models. They had their tongues hanging out to the point that the Logic terminal would, if you tried to do anything while it was recording, even open settings or anything like that, it would stop the recording and tell you that the disk was too slow. So it was time to make a change, which we did. I say this is an almost base model because it does have a RAM bump in it. Base model is 16 gigs of RAM. This has 24. Everything else is base model, 10-core CPU, 10-core GPU. The reason it has 24, we didn't have this like custom ordered or anything. We bought both of these through Apple's refurbished program. They have a wonderful program. Their refurbishment process is fantastic. I've bought numerous terminals through that process over the years, and they've all been great. So that's what we did. We got a better computer for the same money, and we're super happy with it. But because this is a base model, it only has 256 gigs of onboard storage. So what you see plugged into it here is a Samsung T7 portable hard drive. It's got 2 terabytes of space, and so that's what we're recording all of our multi-track to. So Logic Pro goes straight to that every Sunday, and it leaves this thing very lightweight as far as storage goes. So loving that. Well, what else is this thing doing? It's doing obviously Logic Pro and my DMX3, like we talked about a while ago, but it's also running Dante Virtual Sound Card, which is how we're getting audio in and out. It's doing MIDI Studio to handle some automations from the graphics computer. Again, we'll talk more about that later. It also allows me to jump in with Avantis Director. Like if my A1 is standing here on Sunday morning and he's busy and changes need to be done with in-ears, I can jump into Avantis Director and do monitors for him, and it's super, super clean. It's also running Dante Controller, and it's my Ubiquity server. So those are two big things that I couldn't do on those terminals before because they just wouldn't do it all at the same time that I can do now. The other thing that's going on, you'll notice here we have an ultra-wide monitor in place. This is a 1440. It's an IPS panel. This was like, I don't know, $280 or $300, something like that. Again, got the monitor, both monitors actually, on our upgrades through Amazon Renewed, which has been awesome as well. I didn't know what to expect with the lower resolution. All I've known is like the Retina displays that come with like iMac models. Haven't had a problem with this. Everything's clear. There's no crazy pixelation on most things. Again, it's 1440, so it scales well with the Mac Mini, and I've been super happy with it. Is it super color accurate to P3? No, but I don't need it to be. This workstation is not doing anything that requires color accuracy, so don't particularly care about that. Save myself a few $100s. And then finally, of course, I'm running a Stream Deck here that's got some hotkeys programmed just through the Stream Deck native software to our lighting controls so that if for some reason an automation doesn't fire at front of house, either myself standing here at the director's workstation or the A1 guy can reach over and hit a scene and we're rocking and rolling. Boom, look at that. Brand new projector. Now you're probably going, Marshall, why did you upgrade to a new projector instead of going to an LED screen? Because they look better and you can do more with them. And well, cost. It just is what it is. They've come way down in price, but they're still super expensive. This one was going out and we knew we were going to have to replace it soon. The colors were going, all wonky on it, and the brightness was getting really low. So this is an Epson, and I don't remember the numbers. I'll put model numbers in the description down below for you guys. But this is a 10,000 lumen projector. We're running it at 40% brightness right now, and it looks incredible in the room, even with all these lights on and the ambient light from the windows and the doors back there. It looks fantastic. To be honest, at 50 or 60% brightness, it looks just as good as an LED screen to the unknowing eye in the room. So that's one upgrade, but the second upgrade happened back here. We went ahead and upgraded this back one. Now, we weren't planning on doing that, but a few weeks ago, we got here on a Sunday morning, and we had dropped a phase of power, and it took that projector with it. I don't know if it's throwing a thermal switch or what, but it refused to stay on. It refused to show us a picture. A few things that changed along with that. If you remember in the room before, up here was like this big trapeze-looking thing that had a key light and the projector hanging on it, and it was sloppily done, and it looked horrible. Porsche Systems out of Lake Charles is our integrator. They came in and got rid of the trapeze. They repositioned the key light where you don't even notice that it's there now, and then they sucked the projector up as far as they could get it to that air duct, so that, again, it's out of line of sight and it's no longer an eyesore. Previously, if we went to a wide shot of the stage from our Cam 1 back here, you could actually see the projector in the shot in broadcast. But you couldn't get the whole stage without doing that. So that's really, really nice that we can get a full shot of the stage now and not see that. And it's black now, so it disappears up there with everything else. Downside, the back one is still white, but they had it in stock and they gave us an incredible deal on it. So didn't really care what color it was. But they did go ahead and suck it up a little higher, and both of these have lens shift. If you're familiar with old school projection, you had like keystone shift in there. If your projector was a little off to the side, you could kind of shift it a little bit. But you always had like these weird angles, and it was still really hard to center. With lens shift, what this actually means is that we can have the projectors off center like that, but actually get them higher and out of the way and avoid the air duct and stuff, and still be able to shift the image to get it nice and center and big on screen without having like weird angles and abnormalities. So, where have I been? Actually, I haven't been anywhere. I've been here the whole time. But I took several months off from the content creation YouTube situation because back at the end of July, beginning of August, my wife and I welcomed our first child into the world. And so we were super excited for her to get here, and she's doing great. Mom's doing great. But that meant that those last few months, I guess from about Easter forward, I needed to kind of put the camera down and focus on her and being present as my wife needed me. And it paid off in such amazing ways, and God bless that. So thank you guys for sticking around and waiting for more content. It means the world to me. But I'm back, and so the camera's back in hand, and there's been lots of things going on. So I hope you'll stick around the channel, and I hope you'll share it with your other AVL and worship buddies that enjoy this kind of stuff. So let's get on to that second computer. All right, so moving on to the second computer upgrade. This is our computer graphics workstation, and below it down there, as you can see, is a 2024 M4 Pro Mac Mini. Now, yes, we went with a Pro on this one. We overbuilt a little bit because of everything this computer has to do without fail on a Sunday morning. So if I'm remembering correctly, this is a 14-core CPU and a 20-core GPU. It's also got 48 gigs of RAM. Like, this thing is a hoss. So what is this computer doing on a Sunday that we want to overbuild that far? Obviously, computer graphics. So it's running Pro Presenter, as most people do, but it's also got 8 displays coming out of it, and those vary between USB outputs, HDMI outputs, and SDI outputs through our Decklink Duo card, which is underneath. As well, this is running a lot of automation for us, both through Pro Presenter and through the Stream Deck on Sunday mornings. So I have a bunch of macros built in here that trigger different things: playlists, media lists, light sequences. So we run MIDI Studio on this, which connects it to our lighting computer up there through our Ubiquity switch that's in the rack under the sound console. MIDI Studio allows us to send triggers from Pro Presenter to my DMX 3.0 and trigger light scenes that way. It works really well for us because we're not doing anything super complicated as far as lighting. While it might look that way, they're all static scenes. So all of our segments in our worship flow on a Sunday morning have a different light scene, whether that's announcements or the preach scene or whatever. So that's all triggered from Pro Presenter. And we just do it by adding a communication trigger to the slide at the front of the song or the segment or the video or whatever. It works really well for us, at least in the current setting. Another piece of automation we're doing has to do with ProPresenter Calendar. So if you're unfamiliar with this feature, I really, really encourage you to explore it. It's been super, super helpful for us in making sure that all of our countdown timers and all of that are the same time every Sunday. It changes the light scene in the room, it starts the timer, it changes the media playlist that's going on at the time. All these things happen at one time. The other thing that automation has allowed us to do is make sure that when our encoder starts and we go live on a Sunday morning for broadcast, it all happens at the same time. So that's really, really nice to have. As well, we're running a Stream Deck down here, which has some backup and some safety buttons on it. So we've got like a clear all set up here. We have a clear text. We can add our lower third back in because there are some things we do where we take it away. We have a full house key to throw the lights up to full house in case there's an emergency. And then we also have some look changes back here that we can trigger from here. We also have a pre-post / autopilot button. So like on a Sunday morning, rehearsal's over, we've done sound check with the pastor, he comes down, he checks his slides. From that point forward, we don't need to touch this computer until the first song. So we hit autopilot, and from that point forward, our pre-service all the way through our countdown to the first song is completely hands-free. So it's really nice. But it means that this computer needs to be able to do all of these things simultaneously and not even break a sweat. And so that's why we overbuilt it the way we did. Now, when it comes to the monitor on this rig, this is, again, an LG. It's a 32-inch 4K monitor. It's an IPS panel, but this is part of their Ultrafine series. I went with this because it has like 98 or 99% P3 color accuracy, which isn't, again, the most important thing, but because we do run videos in here, and at the time when we were putting this rig together, we still had the old projector, and so we needed to be able to get as close as possible on some things. So I wanted to be able to see accurate color in here. But again, it was an Amazon renewed purchase, so we still got it at a pretty steep discount. So again, I don't remember the model number exactly, but I'll put that down in the description below as well. A couple more things that are happening here, specifically outside the computer. We installed an A10 Mini. Now, this is not a Pro because we don't need the recording and encoding features. However, what this does is allow us to give somebody that's coming in as a guest the opportunity to plug their computer in and send it to the front projector without interfering with anything that's going on here. The other cool thing about this is there have been times where we've had a guest speaker come in and they've not had their content built in Pro. And so myself or one of our Pro operators has spent hours rebuilding their stuff sometimes to get it into Pro where it operates the way they had originally intended for it to in PowerPoint or whatever they built it in. So this is really nice because they can just walk in, plug in their computer, and go to town. Or if they need to operate it from the stage, we just throw a wireless HDMI in, switch over to that input, and boom, they're good to go. So that's been a really nice feature. One more thing I want to show you before I wrap this up is this thing. It's just another monitor that we have an output from ProPresenter running into, but it's doing a few things for us. So first and foremost, it is a larger multi-view of what's going on up here for the ProPresenter operator. This is the main feed to the front projector. It's also duplicated, and that's the slides feed and broadcast. Below here, we have the back projector, which is the confidence monitor. Over here, this bottom section is actually our lower third. So if I throw something up here, it just lets them verify that it is turned on and functioning. Because there are certain things we do throughout the day where we turn that lower third off and we don't want it going to broadcast. But the other thing it does, it looks to you right now like it's just the front screen again, but this is actually our program feed coming from broadcast. So we have an output coming from there that goes into our broadcast audio room next door. We just duplicated that feed and brought it in through our Decklink Duo card. We feed it in as a video input into ProPresenter, and then we throw it here so the slides operator can also see the final output from video. We duplicated this entire display, this multi-view, and there's one right up here for the A1 guy as well. So this has been really, really nice for us because we can see what's going on, and it's helped us move more cohesively as a team. And so the front of house team has really enjoyed having these. There's a lot of other options you can do with a side display out of Pro Presenter like that. We even have some macros program that will like change that screen to see different views during certain segments of our worship service. So like during a video, it changes to a preview of the video and the time remaining in that video. Really, really cool. There's tons of options in there. And the more I experiment with Pro, the more things I find that are helpful to the team and that we really enjoy having. Friends, that is all I have for you today. I know it's a short video, but I'm just getting back into the swing of things. So thank you for sticking around. Thank you for waiting on more content. Life has been crazy, but it's been wonderful. So if you have questions about any of the rigs we talked about today, the computers, the monitors, the projectors, anything like that, I would love to hear from you down in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer that stuff as soon as I can. And I know some of you guys are still waiting on content about like the LED backdrop and things like that. And so I will get to that as quick as I can. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for hanging on. And I will see you guys real soon.